I seriously didn't know that things got this bad for this Rachel Zegler Snow White movie, but I'm reading this right now and I'm worried about Rachel Zegler's career. I don't see how she comes back from this.
There are empty theaters all around the country. We are now at a 1 out of 10 on IMDb for the new Snow White. And it couldn't happen to a better person.
She doesn't need a prince to save her, and not surrounded by 7 weird people. Oh, okay, just CGI fictional goblins, I guess.
Every time she speaks, she gets less likable.
She's now bragging about the success of Snow White, which is a movie that's going to lose hundreds of millions of dollars. And mainly because of her, and because nobody wanted to support her.
Controversy around the film began ever since we learned that there would be no Prince Charming because apparently he kissed her without consent, and also no woman needs a man to rescue her. The movie also used CGI for the 7 dwarfs rather than actors because they thought using real people would be offensive.
But you don't seemingly like your own character, so she comes off as an insufferable, whiny brat. Rachel Zegler is extraordinarily woke, but she's woke in a way that's quite deranged.
And if she hadn't have opened her mouth, I think that this movie might have done well. They might have just been able to ride on the hopium of the movie and some well-cut trailers, and people would have paid to go see it. And then it would have fallen off when people knew it was garbage.
I don't think they're going to buy it. I don't think they're going to watch it. I don't think they're going to like it.
But Rachel Zegler made it so hateable that you really sabotaged and took hundreds of millions of dollars from the studio. I don't know how anyone would ever want to go into business with her ever.
Rachel is literally the star of a Disney movie, and she acts like she's some sort of victim. And that's the sort of mentality that is just poisoning people's minds. Like, she acts like her life is so bad.
Yeah, we had more dwarfs than we did viewers in most of these theaters. And as you know, there were no dwarfs other than some CGI weird generated version of them.
You know the say, go woke, get broke, and Disney's going to lose money on this movie. And I believe it only made less than $1 million in China.
Do you know how hard it is to find an attractive young woman in Hollywood who can act and sing? It's not hard. Who just isn't going to offend half the country.
This truly is the worst casting, maybe, in the history of the film industry.
Disney's Bob Iger says their mission is to entertain, not send messaging as Snow White sales compete for worst performing live-action Disney adaptation ever.
I truly do believe that. There's something wrong with her. She's disturbed. She's unhappy. The reality is she's just not stable. Like the majority of people in Hollywood, they're just not stable human beings. I would highly advise that you boycott this film, no matter how much your children love Snow White.
Don't alienate half of the country when you're putting out a product meant to appeal to all. It's the Michael Jordan Republicans buy sneakers too. They spent $170 million to make the thing, and it had the lowest opening, under $50 million, of any of these live action Disney remakes that they've ever had.
Some of you want us to hire actual dwarf humans, and then we thought we would have CGI magical creatures. How about this? We'll still offend the dwarves, but we'll CGI dwarf.
Mirror, mirror on the wall, how badly did Disney's new Snow White flop after all?
And if you disagree with this sentiment, I don't need your business. Thanks.
I don't need your business. You know what? Maybe Disney does. Maybe you're a tool, you're a pawn in this film. You didn't write it. You didn't direct it. You have nothing to do with the creation of Snow White.
Right.
You should shut up and do the job.
Disney just hit the panic button, and it's not just fan backlash this time. The situation has officially spiraled. Snow White is being pulled, literally. Retailers are yanking toys, posters, and even DVD pre-orders off the shelves like it's radioactive. And at the center of this corporate meltdown, Rachel Zegler, caught in the firestorm, and now breaking down in real time on a live stream that's got everyone talking. What happened to one of Disney's most iconic fairy tales? Well, it started with a bold remake, but what the studio called progressive, audiences are calling a total betrayal. The beloved dwarves? Scrapped. Prince Charming? Axed. That classic fairy tale magic? MIA. What's left is a controversy-fueled disaster, and Rachel Zegler is taking the heat. Hard. Once hailed as Hollywood's next big thing, Rachel has somehow become the poster child for Disney's downfall. Her attitude has rubbed fans the wrong way, acting like the entire Disney legacy was just a backdrop for her to strike a pose, drop a few lines, and collect the check. One viral comment summed it up. Rachel treats Disney like it's her personal runway. She shows up, models the dress, and bounces. Harsh? Maybe. But judging by the public's reaction, it's not far off the mark.
For every one of the 18 hours I am in this Snow White dress, I expect to get paid. If it's 18 hours, I want 18 hours of pay. I'm sure she got underpaid as a Disney lead actress.
If you think we're being dramatic, oh, just wait. This whole saga is messier than a Real Housewives reunion, and the drama, still piping hot. Disney's been making some questionable moves lately, but this might just be their most spectacular flop yet. And the internet isn't letting it slide. People are calling it tone deaf, lazy, even straight up disrespectful. For a company that once built its name on fairy tale magic, this is anything but enchanting. The House of Mouse might need more than just a PR cleanup. They might need a full-on rebranding spell, because right now, they're losing money and fan goodwill faster than you can say, once upon a time. And what's wild, Disney seemed to think no one would notice. Like fans wouldn't recognize them tossing millions down the drain and calling it progress. Let's hit rewind for a second. The original Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. That wasn't just any movie. That was the beginning. 1937, the film that built the Disney kingdom brick by brick. That movie didn't just launch a franchise, it launched a legacy. Touching that is like messing with grandma's secret pie recipe. Change one thing and boom, you've started a generational feud. But did Disney flinch? Not even close. They steamrolled ahead with a remake that's now being roasted harder than a burnt Thanksgiving turkey. Test audiences didn't even see a film. They saw a TikTok reel desperately trying to be deep. No warmth, no wonder. Just trend-chasing visuals and edits that looked like they were slapped together by a confused algorithm. One viewer even said, it felt like AI tried to remake a fairy tale and got bored halfway through.
A few lessons for Disney. Number one, stop cannibalizing all your old IP. Like, it's really bad. It's really bad business. Number two, please stop changing all of the historic plots, which actually have meaning to generations of people, to instead become generic woke story about how woman leads revolutionary uprising and she don't need no man.
Here's where it gets really wild. Instead of stepping back and saying, okay, maybe we messed up, Disney doubled down like they were on a hot streak in Vegas. They dumped even more cash into the sinking ship. Extra PR, more post-production band-aids, endless spin. Like some glitter and a few shiny edits could magically fix the mess. According to insiders, Disney truly believed their brand was invincible. That just slapping the castle logo on anything would guarantee success. Spoiler alert, it didn't. Fans showed up like digital snipers, zeroing in on every flaw and lighting it up online. The acting, flat. The writing, roasted. The overall vibe, cringe with a side of please make it stop. One viral comment nailed it. This fairy tale isn't bulletproof. It's Swiss cheese, and the internet's poking every hole. Brutal, but not wrong. And now, let's talk about the financial carnage. Snow White 2025 is quickly becoming one of Disney's biggest cash catastrophes ever. We're talking red ink so deep you can practically hear the tension in those marble-floored boardrooms. Every time a new box office prediction drops, it sinks lower than the last. Early viewers are reportedly walking out of screenings looking dazed, like they just survived a student art film directed by a mime who lost the plot halfway through. Some even described it as an art house fever dream, but like, the kind that makes you question your life choices. Ouch.
Next story is Snow White. Snow White bombs, breaks records for the lowest live-action remake opening ever. Let me say that again, ever.
I mean, look at this right here. Snow White crashes 70% in second weekend box office.
And then came the IMDb reviews. Yikes doesn't even begin to cover it. The film's rating nosedived to a jaw-dropping 1.6 out of 10, like the entire internet held hands and collectively said, yeah, no, it's a digital roast session on Lou. Review after review says the direction is so baffling, even die-hard fans of cringy cult classics are throwing in the towel. Social media absolutely drowning in posts declaring this movie as the final nail in the coffin for Disney's so-called magic touch.
Zoom in right there, that's it. 163,000 rating, of which it got 1.6, not out of 5. Like, you know, sometimes you go to McDonald's, it's 1.6 out of 5.
Yeah.
1.6 out of 10.
Because once more, look at this right here. This movie has crashed in the second week that it's been out. 70% this movie crashed.
Critics aren't pulling punches either. This isn't being labeled as bold or progressive. They're saying it's less about empowering female leads and more like getting smacked in the face with a blinking neon message that crashes through the plot like a runaway truck. Subtlety? Nowhere to be found. And that final dance scene? Whew. Don't even get people started. Everyone's gliding around in all-white outfits, looking like they accidentally stumbled off the set of a budget cult documentary. One guy walking out of the theater literally muttered, "That's 30 seconds I'll never get back." And based on the silent, stunned crowd behind him, he wasn't the only one feeling that way. It's not just bad, it's embarrassingly out of touch. Critics are calling it tone-deaf performance art disguised as a fairy tale, with all the grace of a high school play that ran out of rehearsal time. The message was loud, sure, but in the worst way possible. At this point, you'd think Disney would have learned that messing too hard with a classic usually ends in disaster.
The movie went over budget, right? Went over about $250 million. They had the whole dwarf midget issue where they decided they weren't going to have any midget actors, right? They were having DEI-inspired magical creatures to replace.
I remember back in 2023 when this was going on and all the little people making videos saying, well, wait, there's so few roles for us in Hollywood. We're being passed over for this. You could have cast seven little
Peter
people.
Dinklage.
Apparently, no one at Disney got the memo that says, maybe don't torch a beloved classic. And right at the eye of this chaos, Rachel Zegler, now unofficially crowned by the internet as the queen of controversy, or maybe just queen of saying the wrong thing at the worst time. Grab your popcorn because Rachel's PR spiral has officially hit main character energy. Sure, she entered the scene with some buzz, thanks to a few big musical roles, but when it came to Snow White, her energy turned colder than a walk-in freezer. She didn't just distance herself from the original, she publicly dragged it, calling the classic outdated, throwing shade at the prince, saying he gave off stalker vibes. Like, excuse me? Girl, this isn't a late night roast session. It's the foundation of Disney's empire. And then came the now infamous quote, "I know you've told me before that your version of Snow White is different, and it's more of a 2022 version." As if slapping a modern label and a sassy tone on it automatically makes it better, because nothing screams respect for a legacy like tearing it apart, while still cashing those Disney checks. But Rachel didn't stop there. Oh no, she took it up a notch when she said she should have been paid for every hour she had to wear the Snow White dress. That line? Yeah, it exploded. One furious fan snapped back, "If you hate the role so much, why take it?" And honestly, the internet rallied behind that sentiment. Her social media became a full-on war zone overnight. Critics slammed her as arrogant, while Rachel clapped back, calling them stuck in the past. Because, of course, insulting your target audience always works out well in movie marketing.
Her heroine cannot be in love or be saved by a man, the prince, that she's more focused on becoming the leader she was meant to be, as if women in modern day America must make that choice.
Some people are now spinning the backlash as part of some grand coordinated smear campaign. But whether that's true or just damage control, one thing's undeniable. This casting came with way more baggage than Disney ever signed up for. A growing number of fans aren't buying the victim narrative. They're saying Rachel Zegler isn't being targeted. She's just steering the ship straight into the iceberg herself. While the internet burns, she's been busy retweeting fan praise like she's on a victory lap, completely brushing off criticism and labeling everyone else as outdated. If there were ever a masterclass in how not to handle public image, Rachel's hosting it live. Front row seats, no tuition required. And somewhere deep in the halls of Disney HQ, you just know the PR team is curled up in a corner, clutching the script and muttering, "Please, just make it stop," like they're trapped in a slow burn horror flick with no exit.
I know that you've told me before that your version of Snow White is different and it's more of a 2022 version of Snow White. What did you mean by that?
I mean, you know, the original cartoon came out in 1937, and very evidently so. There's a big focus on her love story with a guy who literally stalks her.
Yeah.
Weird.
Super weird.
So we didn't do that this time.
I'm going to stand there 18 hours in a dress of an iconic Disney princess. I deserve to be paid for every hour that it is streamed online.
People have real problems and no one gives a sh. If she got paid for 17 instead of 18 on her multi-million-dollar salary, which is not calculated by the hour.
But oh no, the drama doesn't stop with Rachel, not even close. The movie itself, it hits you with political messaging like a brick to the face. There's no clever weaving of modern values into a timeless tale here. Nope, it's more like someone strapped a fire hose to a social justice pamphlet and said, "Let's make a fairy tale." Every single scene feels like it got passed around to a dozen focus groups, each one louder and more confused than the last. And somehow, both sides of the political spectrum are roasting it. That's not just a flop, that's an Olympic-level gold medal faceplant. Political commentators are calling it lecture first, entertainment later. And the script? It reads like a checklist gone wild ad empowerment moment. Delete dwarfs, insert moral speech. Disney claims it's a tribute to Snow White's timeless bravery. Right. Because we all remember that magical moment in the original when she stopped mid-song to deliver a TED Talk to forest animals about 21st century values. If you were holding out hope that the studio would find a way to blend classic charm with modern messaging, yeah, this one lets you down faster than a sparkler in a rainstorm. Word on the street, Disney HQ is in full-scale meltdown mode. Picture a clown car on fire spinning in circles. That's the vibe. Insiders are whispering about emergency product pullbacks, with some employees quietly referring to Snow White merch as toxic inventory. Yikes. And financially, it's a certified disaster. The production budget blew past $250 million before they even lit the fuse on their chaotic marketing campaign, which, let's be honest, mostly just tried to convince us this whole thing was enchanting. Spoiler, it wasn't. Now, with ticket sales in freefall, even the big guns like Bob Iger are feeling the heat. Investors are reportedly furious. Think grumpy troll under a bridge levels of mad, minus the charm. And behind closed doors, word is a few top execs are already dusting off their resumes, just in case this flop sends shockwaves all the way to the top.
Be a leader as a female and fall in love and be rescued by a prince. Like, that's incongruous bull. That's only the left's version of what it means to be a strong woman or female empowerment.
Our rights are on the line, folks. Our reproductive rights.
Oh.
Come on.
Okay, Cheshire Cat.
Go vote blue. And if you disagree with this sentiment, just hit the unfollow button.
Wow, what a scene.
I don't need your business.
So she just encapsulates everything that most of us cannot stand about modern day feminism and the left in general, and Hollywood.
And speaking of rattled, insiders are now calling the project Snow Wrong behind closed doors. And that's one of the nicer nicknames. Word is the internal chatter gets a whole lot messier when the cameras aren't rolling. Maybe, just maybe, someone should have listened to those early test audiences, the ones practically begging Disney to pull the plug while there was still time to save face. But hey, hindsight's 2020, especially when it's playing out on a big screen in a theater emptier than a Monday morning matinee. Now let's zoom out for a second. The entire entertainment industry is watching this unravel like it's a fireworks show gone wrong. Smoke everywhere, sparks flying, and a few executives ducking for cover. Rival studios? Oh, they're definitely taking notes on what not to do with a legacy title, because if Disney's golden child can go down in flames this hard, nobody's untouchable. But here's the real kicker. This isn't just about Snow White. This disaster has thrown gasoline on a bigger conversation that's been simmering for years. People are finally asking, does Hollywood's remake obsession need to take a seat? Because no amount of flashy CGI or trendy casting can rescue a soulless script, especially when your lead actress is out here roasting the story she's supposed to bring to life. Fans aren't fools. They're tired of lazy reboots, hollow nostalgia, and scripts packed with shallow messaging like it's a checklist. And maybe, just maybe, this crash and burn moment will make studios think twice before they bulldoze another childhood classic in the name of clout. Moral of the story: 1. Don't torch a beloved fairy tale just to chase online applause. 2. If you're Rachel Zegler, maybe rethink the whole mock the fans routine. Because guess what? Those same fans? Yeah, they're not showing up, not in theaters, not in spirit, and definitely not with their wallets. From strange creative calls to awkward interviews and PR fails that made things way worse, this might go down as Disney's most expensive lesson in what not to do.
Disney's Bob Iger says their mission is to entertain, not send messaging as Snow White sales compete for worst performing live action Disney.
Now the rumor mill is in overdrive. Last-minute re-edits, hush-hush marketing pivots, and even whispers of legal threats if the backlash doesn't simmer down soon. Hollywood's watching like it's the season finale of a reality show, and trust, this drama's delivering. Disney's once shiny crown, it's slipping fast, and the internet isn't offering a hand. Memes are flying, reaction videos are dropping hourly, and what started as a PR hiccup has turned into a full-on roast bonanza. But don't get too cozy, the chaos is just getting started. Insiders are spilling tea about entire scenes getting chopped in a frantic attempt to soften the blow, and Disney's legal team, word is, they're already circling the wagons in case this spirals into finger-pointing and lawsuits. And judging by how fast this ship's sinking, that storm's about to hit land. It's a tale as old as time. Big studio thinks they're bulletproof, completely misread the audience, lets the star run wild with hot takes, and boom, Hollywood meltdown. And you better believe this one's going in the Disaster Hall of Fame. If you're hungry for every twist as it drops, hit that subscribe button now, because with the way this is spiraling, the next headline could be even messier than the last. And hey, not all fairy tales end with a song and a sparkle, especially not when you've got a confused script, a cast with zero chemistry, and a marketing department clinging to denial like it's a flotation device. Disney doesn't need a magic mirror right now. They need a hard reality check. Smash that like button, sound off in the comments, and let us know. Are you mad, amused, or just baffled that this movie even made it past the pitch meeting? Because at this point, the only thing more cringe than that culty all-white dance finale might be the next desperate attempt to save face. Stay tuned and grab popcorn. It's only getting wilder from here.